Thanks for joining us for the Member xCite presentation. The Member xCite presentation is informative, interesting to the audience, and showcases the strengths of the presenter as an entrepreneur and their area of expertise. It's not a sales pitch, it's a 10-minute educational and insightful exploration into what they do. And of course, it's exciting.
So today we have Kyle. Decide Your Destiny, more than just pretty words. They're the foundation of a philosophy that has seen Kyle through. As the custodian of this philosophy, it's his mission to get it into the hands, hearts, and souls of as many people as possible on this planet. So for those of you who don't know Kyle Spyrides is a visual storyteller who runs soul-gazing photography. He currently is running a crowdfunding campaign to support the acceleration of the Decide Your Destiny movement. He's looking to serve and help revolutionize the concerning reality of young male suicide rates and current mental health crisis. The light, the spark, the essence within can be relit, and this book aims to do that and build on the character and the soul of the excellence of the potential found in everyone's heart.
So what I'm sharing today is more of the essence of Decide Your Destiny. And where this came from was a very special man, my grandfather. One sunny summer's day, we were just sitting in the lounge room and he turned to me. We weren't talking about anything. We weren't really having a chat. We were just sitting there in the lounge room. And my grandparents were the people who raised me. So I was just sitting there in the lounge room quietly and he just turned to me and he said, "Decide your destiny." And then I said, "What?" He said, "Decide your destiny." I said, "What are you talking about, Clivey?" There was no context. What do you say? He said, "Make sure whatever you do in your life that you decide your destiny." And 2 months later, I found myself in an induced coma, nearly died multiple times and just had this kind of roller coaster of this continuation of this roller coaster of a life from the age of 14 to 19 or 18. And so as I kind of overcame a lot of those challenges and kind of started to live a life eventually, I went back and I had a look and went, okay, wow, where have I decided my destiny? What is this philosophy, Decide Your Destiny? And what was my grandfather saying to me? And those three words, they kind of just circulated back into my ears, back into my consciousness. And then it all culminated to a point where I went over to Sydney and I saw him off as he, in his final weeks of his life. He wanted to be at home and we got a hospital bed and he was at home and we looked after him. And I came back to Perth after that experience. And I just had this kind of deep introspective moment. And this title came to me again. And this deep prayer, looking for, next steps or direction or where to go from here. That's where this book came to me. And so that's where I've just been diving deep into the philosophy of what my grandfather's shared, into what it means to decide your destiny and what are the important elements of that. So today, because it's only a 10-minute presentation, I didn't want to go too deep into it, but there's basically 7 sections of the book. And the sections are youth, heroes and mentors, family, purpose, heart and soul, mindset, and God and wisdom. So today I just wanted to share a little bit about youth, heroes, and mentors and family. So this is the rituals of deciding your destiny, because what it takes to decide your destiny. And the first thing I focus on, it's kind of like what Steve Jobs said, you can only move forward by joining the dots looking backwards. So focus on the youth extractor, which are 2 questions that really can prompt a lot of introspection and growth and help you with your direction following on. So first question is, what are you dragging with you that does not serve you? So, we've all had a life. Many of us have had different sort of lives. And I think in your youth, what can happen, and for me personally, what can happen is maybe certain things happen that cause you pain, cause you traumas, affected you in a certain way, and you kind of developed a feedback loop or a safety mechanism for dealing with that. And so for me personally, when I asked this youth extraction question, what came up for me was the fact that I would cut myself off. And what I would do is I would cut myself off from other people whenever I was hurt, whenever I felt that I was being, you know, like hurt, because I would feel that, okay, the people closest to me, you know, they're supposed to show up for me, and they didn't quite show up for me in the way that I assumed, you know, a parent or a close friend, or, you know, these sorts of relationships, they didn't quite show up for me. So to protect myself, which is something that I think a lot of us do, is you just shut yourself off, you go into a bit of a cocoon. But what happens there, the problem is that you don't allow yourself to grow. And so for me, when I asked this question and I found out what I was doing later on in my life, I was able to kind of remove that and go, I got to stop cutting myself off because I don't want to go into the discomfort of trying a new way or facing the reality of that situation. So for me, and in my life, what really impacted my life, I truly believe that one feedback loop or that one hinge, you know, led to me eventually having major health problems, and you know, some of the things that happened to me later on in my life. So that's why the youth extractor, or the why diving into youth, is so important, to remove some of those things. Now, on the positive element, there is, you know, what is the greatest lesson you learned from your youth that still serves you to this day? So for me, the most positive lesson is fortitude. And fortitude is defined as courage through pain. So courage through and over adversity. And that skill, which people will learn at all different levels, but that skill just kept showing up, and the opportunities in my youth, in my younger years, kept showing up for me to refine my fortitude, learn more, and, you know, learn more resilience. And that has paid me dues in in my years beyond, but in this world that has both chaos and peace, that's going to have changes and shifts, and, you know, your perfect day isn't going to go so perfect. So having that as, okay, great, that was a great lesson that I learned to survive, to overcome, to grow, that fortitude lesson, I'm going to continue with that. I'm going to take that on. And so there's the two questions that I like to ask and like to, you know, investigate every now and then, and just hone back in, because that fortitude question, you know, that fortitude skill set, that can serve me in my day-to-day with whatever I'm dealing with. And also making sure that I'm not shutting myself off when, you know, painful elements come up. So they are the two questions. And then the next factor of the youth essence is character. When we think about, you know, youth, when we think about, maybe we've got, you know, some of the people on the call, or most people on the call, probably have kids. You know, I've got younger brothers. Was surrounded by lots of different cousins of different ages as a kid, you know, as I was growing up. And you really get to know and appreciate those characters of a kid that we kind of, I don't know what happens, but it just kind of wanes out of us as we become an adult. And so some of those characteristics, you know, boundless, expansive, energetic, entertainer. I think kids, you know, I think they're really animated. You know, they're animated with life. They're not showing up, I guess, to do a presentation. You know, they do this presentation probably 10 times better than me, but, you know, they're not showing up lackluster or tired, or, you know, like, they're animated, they're energetic. They have kindness, they've got love, they've got ability to learn, curiosity. They're a visionary, you know, and they're unrelenting. And so many of those characteristics of someone, you know, from youth or a younger person could really serve us in our day. Obviously, we still have to conduct ourselves as adults, but I think a lot of those extra qualities would be incredible to bring in. So the next section of the book, and also in the course, is moving into heroes and mentors. How am I doing for time, Nick? Am I good for time? So yeah, heroes and mentors, sorry. So your guide. All good. So your guide. So this is where we can kind of do a little bit more, you know, I guess more deep diving into who are some of the heroes, either on the TV set, the comic book, the figurines that inspired you. And then why did they inspire you? What were the things, you know? Was it James Bond? He just seemed to have everything handled. He had his suit, he had everything handled while there was so much chaos going around him. You know, who are those characters, you know, those heroes, and what were their traits? What were their values? What were their actions that really inspired you and made them heroes to you? That's a really great thing that we can do a deep dive on. And then who are some of the mentors that have guided you in your life progression so far? You know, for me, my grandfather, he was my grandfather and my grandmother. They came into my life at the age of 14 when I had nowhere to go, and they showed up for me. And just everything they taught me, everything they gave me, the opportunity, the ability to listen and not just jump in and direct and tell. They were incredible listeners, which is kind of a separation from, you know, parents. You know, usually parents, they have more of a disciplinary role, you know, and so if you are raised by grandparents, there's that kind of degree of separation. So for me, I had, you know, they taught me a lot in my life, those mentors. So for me going forth, you know, I think it's always great to have coaches and mentors. And, you know, in today's world, we can have incredible digital coaches like Nick Creek. You know, so, you know, it's always good to keep bringing those people into your life. So, you know, what do you need in your life to help you to become the hero? You know, who are the mentors that you need in your life? And what are those character traits? You know, going back to those character traits of the you know, your favorite hero growing up, or, you know, I know some character traits of my grandfather that I want to re-emulate or look for in my next mentor or coach along the way, and my own grandmother as well. So heroes and mentors are going to help you to get to your dream. They're going to help you to get to your goals, and really diving deep into who we want those people to be, I think really, really helps. And then, so next we have got family. So family, my lesson, or what I'm talking about family, is a bit more cut and dry. Family is, you know, one of the most important things in your life, but it can't be your entire life. You know, you've got to have your own passions, your own purpose, your own vision, you know, and a lot of the time family can either totally be our whole life, and we're, you know, we're not focusing on other areas of our lives, or it can be that the family or family and friends are draining us and sucking us down. So this is where I use the cut the fat method. So who do you need to flow more time, energy, commitment, gratitude, and love to? Who is it in your life that you need to flow more of this attention to? Who do you need to show more of your life to? Who do you need to involve more of your life to? With this crowdfunding campaign, what's been incredible is the support that I'm getting from family and friends, and involving them along in the project. And after every week of pledges and support and shares, I do a shout out video to everyone who supported me. So for me, that's like a greater family, you know, beyond just your family that you're related to me. And for me, it's always been greater than the family that I'm blood related to. My grandparents that you see here, I'm not blood related to them. So there's so many people that have showed up for me in my life and become my family that aren't necessarily blood related. And then who needs to go? These are the hard decisions. These are tough decisions. You won't make every right decision in your life, but trying your best to make every decision right should be the goal. So I've had to kind of remove and let go and kind of set up boundaries with very, very integral and historically very important relationships, family relationships in my life. And it's an incredibly difficult decision, but you can't go forward if you have a shackle around your ankle, if you have a family member or a friend, or even sometimes it's a relationship that is holding you and pulling you back. Now, I'm not saying you cut them off, you know, like it's what you have to do for your situation, but you're going to have to change something, shift something. Otherwise, it's just going to bubble up and explode. So, yeah. And then also I'd say, who are you letting into your life like family? You know, some people know more about the latest celebrity or the latest TV drama than they know about their family member and what they're doing, what they're up to, or the media or the opinion polls, you know. So I think being really aware of the information you're allowing into your consciousness, and how that information is showing up in your household and your family. And then how can you add more creativity to serve your family? You know, like how can you, you know, call them? How can you send them letters? How can you do different things? And this works the same with your clients and your customers and your business's greater community. You know, how can you add that creativity to show that you care, to show that you value them, to show that you're interested? And then finally, the end of the presentation is that I have got this crowdfunding campaign, and I've got a big announcement, which is this book is coming together. And this book is the philosophy. It is the essence of what my grandparents gave to me, and it's materializing. So if anybody would love to support the campaign, share the campaign, find out more information, find out what this young kid's all about, or what the heck is he talking about here, please follow that link, and I'll put it in the bio as well. So thank you.